So thanks a lot for the invitation to present a bit the perspective of one marketing authorization holder regarding the monitoring of the safety data reported in women who are pregnant. So I'm the head of the Immunology Patient Safety Unit in UCB, and I will present you during this 10 next minutes, first of all, the regulatory requirements on pregnancy data from a marketing authorization holder perspective. Then I will briefly describe how we are collecting our pregnancy data and also how we are analyzing them. And finally, I will talk about the communication of our pregnancy data and also the recommendation for use of our product during pregnancy. So on this slide, I try to put together the different guidelines on good pharmacovigilance practices, which are relevant for the pregnancy data. And perhaps to start with the module 6, so in the middle. So this guideline is referring to the way to collect, manage, and submit the reports of suspected adverse reactions to medicinal products, and there is a specific section related to the pregnancy cases. So this module gives us some recommendation on which type of data to collect related to the pregnancy cases, and then in module 9 you have also the principles on how to make the signal detection with these cases when they are in your safety database. And for sure, we have the Annex 3, so GVP Annex 3, which is really addressing the need for post-authorization data related to pregnancy. So the module 7 is addressing the need to present our data in the periodic safety update reports. So those are the reports that we need to develop and produce on a regular basis. So all depends on the life cycle of your product. But so you need to regularly submit an analysis of all your data, including the pregnancy data that you have collected. And submit that to health authorities. So this is something which is addressed by module 7. Then module 8 is about the different post-authorization safety studies, and I think we had already some explanations about those different type of studies. So the registries, the cohort studies, the case control study, the clinical trial, the drug utilization study. So all these kind of studies can address the question related to what is the safety of your product during pregnancy. One guidance which is expected to come into effect very soon is the GVP for product and product-specific consideration 3. So this is related to the pregnant and breastfeeding woman. So this is the guidance that should be available very soon. So on the next slide, I summarize a bit the key points related to the collection of the pregnancy data in our UCB Global Safety Database. So we can receive cases reported in pregnant women with exposure to one of our product from different sources. So you can see that those sources can be publication studies, which can be interventional or non-interventional, registries or spontaneous reports. So the spontaneous reports are the cases that we receive from patients themselves, from physicians, from nurses, from pharmacists. So all those cases are processed in our database if they are associated with an adverse event or if they are not associated with an adverse event. And we try to collect as much information as we can. So we have, for example, the very important information about pregnancy being prospective or retrospective. And this is a key information for our analysis. So that means that a case is prospective if when we receive the case initially, there was absolutely no abnormality already reported in the baby. And retrospective, it's when the case has been reported with already an abnormality identified. So then we also record the pregnancy date. So for a pregnancy which is ongoing, we collect the date, the starting date of the pregnancy in order to be able to determine the expected delivery date, which is important for the follow-up. Then you have also the information about the maternal or the paternal drug exposure, because those cases are also recorded when the pregnancy has been exposed to the drug through via the father. Then there is the information regarding the time of drug exposure during the pregnancy, if it was more specifically during the first trimester of the pregnancy or during the whole pregnancy, for example. We collect also the comorbidities of the mother, as well as any other treatment that the mother could have taken during the pregnancy. And finally, another very specific information for those cases are the pregnancy outcomes. So those are different, so all the data that we have in our database and on which we really build our analysis. Regarding the follow-up, so as soon as we consider that the mother has delivered based on the data that we have in our database, we send follow-up questionnaire to the reporter. And for that, we have 3 different questionnaires that we are using. So one which is more specifically for the case reported by a healthcare professional. Another questionnaire is used to collect information from a pregnancy case reported by a consumer. And finally, there is another questionnaire which is sent to any case with a suspicion of congenital anomaly. And so we try to make at least 3 follow-up attempts with 1 month interval to really try to have the pregnancy outcome or any additional information that can be used to make our analysis. On the next slide, you have a bit the way we are analyzing those data. So first of all, on a day-by-day basis. So when you receive a case, there is for some product an auto alert which is generated. So this auto alert is to communicate, for example, a new case of congenital anomaly for a specific product, and this alert is sent to the safety team responsible of the product so that they are kept aware on a daily basis on any new important case, which could have an impact on the benefit risk of the product. Then on a monthly basis, we have some specific line listings for the pregnancy cases. As I mentioned, there are very specific details that we are recording in our database, and those line listings are really tailored to include all those data. And those line listings are reviewed on a monthly basis. In addition to that, we are doing some specific analysis of our cases cumulatively. So those analyses are done according to the importance of the number of pregnancy cases that we receive for one specific case. And at the different step here in the signal detection activities, we have the possibility to contact an external teratologist who can provide us some expert opinion about the case that we are receiving on a daily basis. So for sure, all those analyses are included in the risk management cycle of the product. So we take into consideration all those data to really assess if there is a benefit risk, what is the benefit risk balance for the use of the product during pregnancy. And we make sure that we have risk minimizations in place to ensure the safe use of the product. Regarding the communication of our data, so on an individual case level, we are submitting those cases to health authorities according to local regulations. So not each individual pregnancy case will be reported to health authority. So there are some guidelines to follow. And so, for example, they will not ask to receive any pregnancy case, but only those with a congenital anomaly, for example. So our pregnancy data analyses are included in our aggregate reports, so in the periodic safety update reports, or they can be also sent to health authorities if they have a specific request related to our pregnancy data. And then the communication to the patients and the prescribers is done through the label with the specific section related to the use of the product during pregnancy. We have also some abstracts and posters that we are sharing during the Congress, and also full publications. And so here you have just some example of what I just mentioned. So the information related to the use of Keppra, for example. So this is the specific section in the label of Keppra. You have an example of a poster with the VIMPAT data, so shared during a congress, and then the publication of all the CIMSIA data in a journal. So this is a bit how we are communicating our data in UCB.